Hi everybody, this is Brita for The Happier Attorney, where we learn about flat fees and using flat fees from all of the mistakes that I've made over the last 19 years. So this week's video is on how to communicate with your client about flat fees. And as we all know, the number one complaint for people who file bar complaints is lack of communication with their attorney. And so just like in any other area of your practice, communicating with your client about flat fees is going to be crucial. And I certainly knew that, but last week I spoke to a gentleman who's on a disciplinary committee for the bar, and he was talking to me about bar complaints regarding flat fees. And the number one complaint was that clients did not understand what the flat fee covered and what it didn't. So in my book, The Happier Attorney, page 71, we start talking about the communication that you need about flat fees with your client. Certainly, you're going to have it on your website, explaining what a value pricing is, what the flat fee is. And clients understand what flat fees are. It's how we buy absolutely everything else in the world. But what is critical that they understand, and this has to be in your fee agreement, and yes, you do need to be using a fee agreement. I talked to an attorney a couple weeks ago who was not using a fee agreement for flat fees. In many states, that's unethical. But even if it's not unethical, I'm going to tell you, don't do that. Do not do that. There's no reason not to use a fee agreement, and you're just setting yourself up for trouble. Anyway, so in your fee agreement, you want it crystal clear what your time frame is and what the events are. Your client needs to know what this flat fee covers. You also need to be very clear with them that when it is signed, the fee agreement is signed, the clock starts ticking. That gives them incentive to be cooperative with you, to get you the documents that you need, because they know on that date or in that event, the representation ends. And those elements are discussed in other videos, but we're just talking about the communication. But your clients absolutely need to know and have no surprises. And I'll tell you, you might think it's in your fee agreement, you went through it with your client, they should understand. They don't. And this came and bit me in the rear end. It only happened once, but it was an elderly client, went through the fee agreement, it covered 6 months. The case was going to take far longer than that through absolutely no fault of my own. And she didn't understand that. And even though I had prompted her a couple times, like, we got to get moving, we have to get this done in 6 months, she didn't really understand that, no, our representation ended in 6 months. So she wasn't real happy when she had to pay me more money. And as I discuss in the book and the course, whether your clients pay you more money or not really depends on the facts of the case. If you're just finishing it up and you only have a little bit more to do, regardless of whether the fee agreement ends or not, I'm going to tell you, just wrap it up. Just get it done. It's no skin off your nose, really. But it is imperative that your clients understand what is included, what services are included, and what are not included. So communication with your client is critical. And it's just an element of using flat fees that will cause you to use them properly and not have bar complaints. And quite frankly, this is one of the easiest elements of flat fees that you should have no problem with whatsoever with your clients. Also, as you're getting close to the time frame in the event, make sure you're reminding your clients. Like, okay, we have a mediation coming up, and you know that if we don't settle, then the representation is going to end. The 6 months is coming up. We need to get this wrapped up. Again, be explicitly clear with your clients. Really, this is an easy element, and you should not have any problems with it. As with every other element or ingredient in flat fees, you can't just look at this in isolation. You have to look at all of the elements and all the ingredients together and how they work together. It's kind of like baking a cake. You can't just say, okay, well, what is the dose of this ingredient? How do I do this? How do I do that? You need to look at them all in concert together. So I would encourage you to get the book. It's a very small investment of time and money. At the very least, get the book, The Happier Attorney, to start introducing yourself to how to do flat fees properly. certainly I would encourage you to get the course as well, and to be on the lookout for the live CLEs that we're going to be doing in the next year. So thank you for watching. If you found this at all helpful, like it, share it, subscribe, but by all means, communicate with your clients. There's just, quite frankly, there's no excuse not to. There's just not. Get your fee agreement down, have it simple so that they can fully understand it. And one last thing, go over it with them. You don't just send it to them and have them sign it. Go over it with them, especially the important parts, so that there's no question in their mind as to what it covers. So thank you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.